private, put up, and out the motherfucking way. Y'all be like, oh, where you been at? Like, bitch, in a motherfucking castle, away from you, miserable assholes. Like, I love to just be off the motherfucking map, duck the fuck off, doing my motherfucking one twos, like having a motherfucking bar, living life, buy whatever the fuck I want, like, and just like, at motherfucking peace. Thank y'all. Y'all bitches can think whatever the fuck y'all want to think. Y'all can assume whatever the fuck y'all want to assume. Just know life is great. And you wish you knew what the fuck was going on so you can gossip with your motherfucking homegirls. But unfortunately, my life is private. You can't gossip and talk about it with your homegirls. You could just assume because no bitch knows the tea. I know you wish you did, but you didn't. Private life. Please mind your business, and I'ma always say that hoe. Yeah.
You want that pussy, got that pussy. You want that nookie, yup, that nookie. You want that pussy, yup, cause you looking, got to looking ass. I see you looking, got to looking. I see you looking, got to looking. I see you. Back when I'm fame, back when I'm better. Back when I'm back when I'm better. Back when I'm fame, back when I'm pull up, and I'm getting the right, and I'm pull up, and I'm getting the right, and I'm pull up.
All right, here's the real spill. So, after we leave the hotel in the place where we were supposed to be living at, we go to the housing authority the next day. And I feel the significance to talk about this because this is very important to survivors of systematic abuse or survivors of domestic violence abuse. I feel the need to no longer keep this a secret or be silent. My story needs to be heard. So basically, I was dealing with housing authority, and the housing authority that I was dealing with, I'm not going to say their names just in case there ends up being a possible lawsuit out of this, but they refused to acknowledge my VAWA status, which is basically like, protection for women and children or whoever that is experiencing domestic violence. It is specifically for that. It is provide emergency housing and things of that nature. So I called the hotel back the next I called the hotel back later that day because we already checked out. We were expecting things to go smoothly, but when I went to Section 8, everything went left. It was already around New Year's Eve, and people were not responding and everything. And so we were in another situation where we were like, well, what are we going to do? I wasn't trying to pay the hotel another fee to stay there because it was expensive. I'm not going to say that amount, but it was expensive for me and my children plus my cat and my dog to stay. Mind you, I still have this big old U-Haul trailer on the back of my truck. So I'm calling around for shelters in a whole new state, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? And so a particular tribe ended up helping me. And at this point in time, I'm just now learning really how to drive this big old trailer. And this trailer almost fell into a ditch because the state where I'm in, there's a lot of, back streets, there's a lot of hills, there's some mountains, there's tight curves, there's a lot of ditches, unfinished roads and stuff like that. It's really crazy, especially, the roads are not what I'm used to in the city, in Kansas City. So here I am. I was about ready to give up. But this lady, she came through for me. She was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I got you. Where you at? And I told her my location where I was at. My bad, y'all. I had to stop for a minute because my child was over here breathing like a dragon. But as you can see, I'm in a compromising position right now. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Anyways, so we called the lady came, and we are on this reservation. And in this reservation, I didn't realize where I was at. And I was in the heart of this tribe. that ended up helping me. And so I was like, wow, like, okay, come through, Lord, come through, okay? So me and my kids, we ended up finding a place, and the lady, she helped us with that. She paid for everything. So that freed up some of my finances. And she came through for me. And come to find out, she's an Aries like me. Gang, gang. Shout out to my Aries. But she came through for me. Uh, um, her birthday is April 6th. And I found that to be significant because my life path is number 6. And she ended up, being a spirit guide and a path for me to find, locations and safe places for me and my children. Mind you, I didn't know, had no idea what's going on with my case going on back in KC with my ex. I can't even talk about that right now either, but we'll get to that. If you subscribe, like the video, we'll get to that and you can catch up on the story. So, we get to this hotel. Well, it's not really a hotel, it's like a cabin. And this cabin is like out in the middle of nowhere and it's scary. So the first time getting there, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm pulling this truck and we're going up this real steep hill. Like the hill's like a roller coaster, like you can't even see like over the top. We're going up this real steep hill in a pitch black dark, and she's driving this little bitty car. And so I'm like, Lord, please don't let me fall off the side of the road. Lord, please let me make it. Please just let me make it. Let me make it. And so she was an Aries, so in my mind, she probably did a little bit of that on purpose, whatever, be honorary, whatever. But, so we ended up, long story short, we ended up finally making it to the destination. She, you know, gets me, my kids, my cat, my dog in. We're able to stay. So then I meet with her the next day. We do an intake assessment so she could be my case manager, and boom. So, I still got the U-Haul trailer, everything's all together. Wow, we do. So we're doing an assessment the next day. She's asking me, have you found somewhere to go, blah, blah, blah. It's New Year's Eve at this point. Everybody's leaving work. So I'm like, of course I don't have nowhere to go. Like, what? I need another place to stay. So she gives me the cabin for another night. I'm like, all right, that's what's up. All right, I'm giving all praises because I'm like, at this point, I still have my faith. My faith is strong. I know that everything's going to work out because I kept on asking for signs and signs and signs that everything was going to work out. So everything ended up working out. So New Year's Eve comes and goes, and she ends up being, well, at the last minute when I needed her, she kind of like was ignoring my phone calls. So I went into like panic mode again because, it was time to check out and I didn't want to be stranded like I was before. And she was supposed to be my caseworker, but she said she was going through something personal. So I'm like, what they got to do with me? So, and I'm not saying that to be rude, but I'm like, if you're my caseworker and you know that I'm out here with, all this baggage, all this, a cat, dog, kids, everything, that I'm about to face being kicked out of this lodge. Why are you not picking up the phone? It takes you two minutes to pick up the phone, step outside, say hello. I'm gonna get right back to you, whatever. That's just, I'm like common courtesy type shit. Anyways, so she calls back at the last minute. And by that time, you know me, I'm already on the phone, like making calls. Like, look, this was going on. This is where I'm at. Look, can y'all help me out? So somebody else is like, all right, we got you. By the time these people said, all right, we got you, she calls back at the last minute, was like, all right, I got you. So I go to the front of the lodge and was like, all right, well, I got another night. I don't know which person is going to get me, but they said I'm covered for another night. And then a lady at the lodge was like, all right, actually, you covered for, another few days or whatever. So you free to stay here for another few days. So I think I ended up staying another 3 days after that. So for 3 days, 3 whole days, I had peace of mind. 3 whole days, I was like, I can breathe, I can relax. Let me look for some houses. Let me stay in contact with this initial landlord that I had that I was going to be getting the house with. Me and the landlord, we cool. We ready to sign a lease and everything. But the housing authority, they said, oh, well, due to reasonability, The rent is too expensive, mind you. In KC, my voucher was $2,000 something dollars. They cut that in half when I moved to where I am now. I'm not gonna disclose my location, but they cut that in half. I'm like, what? It's not reasonable, but that's a whole nother story. So I'm like, that's a messed up day on some BS. I felt like this housing authority was working against me versus with me because it was no way why me being under VAWA and supposed to be VAWA protected, why weren't they trying to accommodate me in the best ways possible? They wasn't. They just wasn't. They was like giving me a hard time. So it was like basically unless the landlord lowers the rent, then you can't get this. You can't get this crib. So I'm like, all right. I'm already knowing they're not about to lower their rent $300 a month because why would they miss out on over $3,000 a year when they can just get a regular tenant? So I was like, all right. I took the L, and then on top of it, the caseworker was acting funny. So I'm like, you know what? She's not really helping me. Yet again, I'm in my truck and I'm like trying to figure everything out. I'm like, all right, I'm thinking, let me calm down, let me calm down. So I've called somebody while I was there at the lodge, and I spoke to them. I was just wondering why was Lando put out yesterday during the safety check when you guys came into the safety check? Why did he have to leave the room?
So we have to do it either with the mother in the room or have to have two staff members, and the kid can be in the room with just the staff members. So that's a blanket statement for everyone, not just you guys. So if we have other kids, we won't do safety checks with just the kids in the room.
Okay, so this whole entire time that we've been here,
Mhm.
there seems to be new rules popping up. Okay, Love cannot come and find you without it being a problem. However, Sam was able to kick it with us all night last night. She was able to kick it. I don't have no problem with Sam kicking it with us, but I don't understand why my love's privileges got taken away. But Sam can kick it with us without her mom being present. Like I said, I don't have a problem with that. I just
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And Love did have some privileges whenever y'all first got here. And the day that changed was Love accidentally burnt himself on the coffee pot, and I was out there. He was getting you some coffee, and so that's why that has changed. Was because Love did burn himself on some hot coffee. That is that reason. And especially things have been changing because we want you to feel comfortable. So with the whole,
I don't feel comfortable. And I tried to give you a chance, and I don't feel like I can trust you.
okay.
So that's just how I feel. I feel like you don't like me.
Oh, sorry you feel that way.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
And so I just want to make it clear. I feel like you do not like me, and we don't have to be fake about it no more. And I would appreciate it if other shelter staff come in here, do a room check. If you have any safety concerns about my kids, you know, you can bring it to me or my caseworker. But I just want to keep my distance from you, and I want my kids to do the same because I don't trust you at this point.
That is totally fine. That's totally understandable. That is why rules have been changing to make sure that you're comfortable. So if that is what you want to do, I'm all for it. I'm all behind it. Like I said, whatever makes you feel comfortable, okay?
All right.
Okay. Let me know if you have any other concerns, Mom, and I'll make sure that leadership knows about this concern tomorrow, okay? Okay.
Sam was out there the whole entire night with us for hours, chilling without her mom. So, and Sam, to my knowledge, just turned 12 years old. So, my room is right here by the office. So, and right by the playroom. So, if it won't happen again, I'll make sure they don't come in contact you again. But the reason why I sent Love is because I'm like, you know, I wanted the kids to be present, to know, you know, why. If anybody's in the room, why do they have to leave when staff comes in? And then I would have liked to address this conversation in front of staff if you feel comfortable. That's fine with me as well.
Yeah. And that reason is because we don't want him to be put in a position where he's uncomfortable or anything because there is no cameras in here. So we always do that for the kids feeling comfortable. because we just don't think it's appropriate for adults to be in the room with kids.
Okay.
That's why.
Now, I feel uncomfortable because, I feel uncomfortable because when I'm not around, you know, you still be asking my kids questions and stuff when I'm not around. And I don't care what it's about. I feel like unless I'm there, you shouldn't be asking them anything.
Okay.
You know, unless it's something, you know, unless you have a concern or something like that. But as far as I know, there's no safety concerns. We've been following the rules. I was told there was dog food outside, which we're going to pick up. But everything that you guys tell us to do, we try to accommodate and make changes and shifts and do exactly that. So.
Yeah, and we have no problem. I don't want you to think that there's a problem on staff's end. We don't think you guys are a problem. We don't think that there's concerns. We don't think anything of that. And if you feel like I am talking to your kids without you knowing, I am sorry, but I have been trying to be very mindful of you at least being in the room, like in the playroom. That's whenever I will address them and ask what they need, if they need any extra crafts and stuff. But other than that, I do not have conversations with your kiddos, so hopefully that gives you that peace of mind. Is no conversations are with the kids unless you are present and aware. That's why we have been doing those meetings with not just us and the kid anymore, but us and you as well. So there is no conversations without mom being aware.
All right.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Well, just let me know what else I can do for you, okay, Mom?
All right.